Good morning and welcome to the craft room. I'm Ellie Barnes. Today we're on our 6th day of our 12 days of Christmas and we're going to be making a gingerbread man treat box. So let's make sure we're going live in the right place so everyone can find us. And if you've missed any of these lives, you can always go back and look on the page, or you can go to my YouTube channel and they'll be there as well. They may take a few days to get on there because I'm relying on my daughter to get them there. All right, let's get straight down into the desk and have a look at what we're going to be working on today. Let's see. There's the ceiling. And that's the desk. Well, that looks pretty good. Still got everything set up from yesterday, so there's a bit of embossing cord there, and there's the tray. We've got everything here. This is what we're using today, the gingerbread man. And you might remember we did some videos earlier this, last month or the month before. I can't remember which month. But we did do some gingerbread cards. And we're going to do something similar today, but this time we're turning it into a treat box. So what do we need? I haven't even got my things together, so let's pull out. So let's pull out the stamps we need. And we'll also then get the cutting organised. Actually, the reasons is you want to get your stamp the right size, your stamps, it's floppy. You want it to fit on top. So you can pop your, I have used the cutout before. You can use filling it all the bits as you would like him to, because then we can pop that on. And he's stuck to the plate. I need to put this underneath. Silicone mat, they don't stick to silicone. Silicone mats come in useful for so many things. I've already done it, but I haven't done mine yet. And then we pull him out. And then I'm going to at them saying, I got chocolates. So we'll put his little smiley face with a wink in there. And I'll give him a couple of belly buttons. Well, not belly buttons, but you know, the gingerbread man has his buttons on his tummy. And I've got them down low so that we can fit in the scarf. So that's all I'm taking out of the stamp set. I am going to cut the dies out. I do need to cut out some hats and some and a scarf. So we'll pop that aside as well. And let's get ourselves organised. Now to cut out my gingerbread man, I need him that long. So this is how I measure it so I don't waste too much paper. I put my dies on and I then work out, well, that's enough. I don't worry about 0.7, I think. And I'll just cut that bit off. That'll make a card or something later. And we'll put that away. We'll put that away. I'll use those in a minute. I'll show you what we're going to cut them out of. I did this paper when it's got some red and gold. I'm not too worried about what the pattern is because I just want those flecks of gold through his hat and scarf. So we'll cut those out of there. Let's bring this in. Gingerbread man first. He does take up all the room. So we'll pop that on. Pop that on. We'll put him up towards the end, so if I need some extra bits, I've got some extra brown. This paper's called Pecan Pie. Go through. Ooh. There we go. Oh, well, there's the problem. I can see the problem now. It's too high up on that plate, and I didn't have the other plate on top. So I want to actually get the paper down a bit further because see, it hasn't cut through. You can see it hasn't cut through that bit at the top because it's above that line. See, not watching what I'm doing, busy talking. That's what happens. I get busy, I get talking. Now, I have to nicely on it where I've already cut. And it's not going to, it just doesn't want to today. Oh, could be fiddling here all day. I think that's right. Now it'll go through without a problem and it will cut. So hopefully we've got it in the right spot. Good morning, Liz. I'm glad you can join me again today. And there we are. We've cut out our gingerbread man. Oh, and it's all got stuck to the plate. Okay. Get all those bits over there out of the road. What an effort. We'll pop him over there. And we'll pop our die away. And I'm going to bring in the paper. Looks like we're going to have a glitchy time today. The internet's playing up again. What's new? So I'm going to put that one through that way. So we have a hat and scarf. So if we push these out, I have a hat and I have a scarf. But I want to have two sides to the hat. And I found if I cut it out, it doesn't match up with the pom-pom if I cut another one like that. So I have to turn the paper over for that. And for the scarf, my second scarf, I want it the right way. So I'll just cut those bits off. And I'm going to cut, normally I cut, don't I? I don't put the whole lot through. I need it this side. So let's put that on. That was good. Flicked it through. Let's not get too far to the top. And then I need another scarf like that. So we now need to take our scissors and I'm just going to cut this like so. And you'll see when I didn't explain it very well, but you'll see when we start putting our gingerbread man together why we need it that way. Right. That's all we need to do for the cutting. So we'll pop those down there and we'll get this out of the road. So we have one green hat. Let's get these pieces out that we don't need. Where did I put the green hat? Did I leave it in there? Yes. We have, for one gingerbread man, a green hat and a scarf and a red hat. And by the magic of television, we have another green hat scarf. Now, these are bent the wrong way because I've favoured that side. So I'm just going to flatten them a bit because I want to use the other side. Just to get any ridges out. Because when I put the hat on him, I want a hat that's covered both sides. And you'll see why as we get the box together. So I'll do the same for this one. him out. Now, we'll put these pieces aside. When we make our card, we usually fold him in half like that. But I want to make a box with a gingerbread man on either side, so I'm going to cut his hands here. And then, my favourite way of making the gingerbread man is to white emboss him. Could stamp him in pecan pie and it would stand out, but I love the white embossing because it looks like white icing. So we'll bring in our embossing one at a time. I could have had one already done, couldn't I? But I didn't. We're just going to go through one at a time. Oh, I do need that. What am I talking about? I do need that, Ellie. Again, I'm talking and not thinking about what I'm doing. So, my gingerbread, just going to fix that little eye so it's upright. He's bigger than my ink pad, so I am going to ink all over this way. I've got rid of any static, all the fingerprints and static and whatever it is. Now, I want to make sure he's well and truly pressed all over. And then I'll bring in my white powder. That's looking good down the bottom there. And up here, this side. Got the excess off. Now there's a couple of bits of marks there. I'm just going to do this just to break them up. And that's ready to use the heat gun. Put him aside, we'll do the other one. Now, it has to be the opposite because I want them to be facing opposite each other. So, he's got his hand cut off on that side, he's got his hand cut off on this side. Let's go again. Oh, let's use the embossing buddy. Ink him all over. Give it a firm press so that we know we're getting the inside bits pressed down as well as the outside bits. Pull him off. And let's pour some powder on him. The marks that I keep getting is because I've been pressing so hard and some of the inside part has hit the embossing fold, been hit with the Versamark. So it's just a matter of rubbing off what you don't need. Very carefully. That's why I use the point, because I can just carefully rub it off. Right, he's ready to be hit with the heat gun. We'll put our lid on this and we'll put this over here for a minute and this over here out of the road. Now, when you're doing something like this, I find it's just as easy, and I've not nicked his hand, so I'm just going to put a little dot back on. And then, of course, I get that middle section again. We'll just trim that off. I find it's just as easy to hold it on the sides and do one half and then turn it, and it's just a matter of, you can see it once it starts to change, it becomes bright and shiny. And we're getting there. Halfway on him. Turn him over. Bit of talk amongst yourselves on that one. And the effect is great. If you haven't tried heat embossing, I certainly recommend it, because it does give you a great look on your cards. Right, looks like he's all done. Just make sure that side's done. Let's bring our other fella in. He's going quicker because it's already quite warm. The tool, the heat machine. Have you ever used your heat emboss for anything other than it? Crafting? I used mine the other day to dry my nail polish. There you go, there's a tip. Helps dry your nail polish. It does burn your fingers a bit, so yeah, I can only hold it there for a minute or two, but a couple of zaps and it finishes the drying of the nail polish off quite quickly. I'll turn him around and get the other half done. Okay, and that's them done. Now, let's decorate them. Bring these back in, they blew off. We'll start with this fella since he's cooled down. And I'm just going to put it on the brim of the hat for this bit. Oh, a little bit on the top, but just like that. And it's to the side. I'll pop his scarf on. It's a bit crooked, isn't it? That looks a bit better. Now I'm going to turn him over, and this is why we need the hat cut the other way. I want his hat on the back here. And so I'm going to put some glue here, brim. And then you just match it all up from the back to the front. It's flat on the front and there's a little bit of indent on the back. So there he is. Let's do this one. That's the back piece, this is the front piece. You can just tell slightly with the feel of it. Now, because places, I'm putting them on top of each other. I can't put my other hand. Oh, that's just going to fit then over the top like that. And so when they're facing opposite each other, they've got their hats on the same position. And I just got a little bit of glue on that bottom one. Let me get a wipe. Not a dozen, just one. And then we'll pop his other hat on. Like so. And then his scarf. And it doesn't matter, but the hats you can. Come on, glue. Oh. I've got a bit of glue on my fingers. Where do I throw that? Here. Get the glue off my fingers. Now, while that's drying for a minute, those that haven't used this before, I use this piece of paper in my tray to make clean up breeze and to put all that back in for next time. Two gingerbread men, they're standing opposite each other, or back to back. We need to put a box in the middle. So, same colour cardstock. I want a decent sized box because I'm filling it with lollies for a kid. Big kid, I must admit, but a kid. She's 16. So this will go on our Christmas table for her. And she loves gingerbread. So I want to cut, and I'm just looking and I don't think this piece is big enough. Oh, 8 by 12 I need, an 8 by 12. Yes, 8 by 12. So 8 centimetres that way and 12 this way. And I'm going to score it 2 centimetres on each side. So that's the side bits, and then this way I'm going to score it at, and that's not right. Oh, that's 6, Ellie. 4. Okay. We're not really going to see much of this score line, so I'm not too worried that I've got a spare score line. So, 2 centimetres on this side. Well, let's write it down. So it's 12 centimetres side, score 2 centimetres each side. And on the short side, score at 4 and 8. So hopefully that helps explain it. Now what we're going to do is we'll take our snips and I'm going to cut along my score lines here on the side. And then I'm going to fold those up and fold them up like so and like so. So the side, the box has two sides that don't cover each other up, but the gingerbread man will cover him. So we're just going to put some glue on this side. And join them up. And you can see I'm slightly out. They should be even, but there's a slight gap, but that's not going to matter in a minute because we're going to glue that onto the gingerbread man. Right, so those are in. We're going to repeat on this side. Some glue. And hold those so that we now then have a little box. Now our side, this side which has got the cuts or the openings, we're going to pop some glue on. We're going to take one of the gingerbread man, turn him over, and put it so the bottom of the box is right down at the top of the middle of his legs. And you want it in the middle. If you're looking straight down, which I think you are, so you're right at the join of his legs at the bottom, and he's in the middle. And then while he's there, we're going to put some glue on this side. And again, we want the bottom, and it's easier, I found, so I could see what I was doing, to go this way. In the middle and across the bottom, or the join of his legs. And just hold it till it dries for a second. And you have a gingerbread box, and he stands quite well if he hasn't dried properly. I should have let him dry longer. What we're going to do is let him dry a bit longer. That's where it was, I think. He is standing all right, I think. Have I got him right? This is where you can fiddle a little bit while it's still drying. We'll let him dry a bit. I'm going to put a block on him just to put some pressure on it. And I'm going to bring in, now I cut these out before because I had to cut them 6 times. And I'll explain how that happens with this die. I cut out 4 red ones so I could get 4 of these red ones, but you end up with 4 of those red ones as well. So I've got enough to make more candy canes. And then I cut out 2 white ones to get 2 of those, and I ended up with 2 of those. So I've got enough to make other candy canes as well. So what we're going to do is, and I could have used adhesive sheet, but I have completely run out of adhesive sheet at the moment. So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue on each of these and on the very end, just so it sticks. And I'm going to put one on this side. These look so cute. I'm always using my blocks to hold things down while they dry. Double purpose the blocks are. Don't need to be holding the lid. And we'll do this one. And we'll pop it on this one. There. Then on this one, I need to use the reverse side. So once again, I'm taking my bone folder. It doesn't have that edging from being at the back of, or being the bottom of the die. just so that it sits nicely. So I'm then going to glue that on the other side of my candy cane. And this is like the hat, it's going to be seen from both sides of the box. So I did do the first one, I'll show you in a minute, with one side done and one side not done. But I decided that it really did need both sides done. And I'll put that block on there for a minute. And we'll do the same again. Oh, and Ellie, you've done it on the wrong side. We'll just quickly wipe that off. That could get a bit sticky, but we'll hopefully it will dry okay. Mistakes. Don't you love them? It's now a bit soft, so now I have to do it this way. There we go. And he's on there. Now, our little gingerbread man should stand up now. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in that box. It's 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. You can get a few lollies in there. For our gingerbread man, we're going to glue him, his candy cane on. I want to glue it on here to cover up that straight line. And a bit goes on his hat. And I think it's just the end of this hat here. So we'll let that dry a minute. And we can do this. It can be drying while I'm putting this one on. And we're going to hang up. We're just going to put a little bit on the edge of his hat and on his arm. And there it is. Now, they're a bit delicate because they're still drying. But, and that's the other side. So he actually, when you're looking straight, that the candy canes match up and the box matches, the hats match up and the gingerbread matches up. So it can be viewed from both sides. So if he's on the table, it's not quite dry. If he's on the table and sitting there, you just sit, but whoever's looking at him can see both sides. I think he's rather cute. If you were giving this as a gift, it's the green and gold twine, not green and gold, the green and white, it's not even green, Ellie, it's red and white twine, or you could use the real red ribbon to tie it, or even on a white ribbon or white twine. And you could still fill him up with lots of lollies and or goodies. Any other goodie you'd like to think of can go in there, as long as it fits in that little 4x4 box. And it can even stand up quite high because it'll be hidden by the gingerbread head and you can see it side on. So that's my gingerbread man box. I hope you have some ideas out of that. And the measurements are here, as I said, for the little box part. It's 12 by 8. You're doing 4 by 4 on one side, so that you've got the 4 by 4, and 2 and 2 on the other side, so it forms the sides of the box that gets stuck to the gingerbread man. So let's come back up to me. To me at the moment. There you go. Hopefully you've seen most of it. I'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, he is cute, isn't he? I think he's gorgeous as well. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We're going to make a bonbon. You don't have to buy them. They're very easy to make. So join me tomorrow at 10 o'clock and I'll show you how to put a bonbon together. All right, have a lovely day and I will see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Bye-bye.